All right, we're gonna try another video here, putting the tripod in a different place, and I'm still painting, so I know that you're not watching this video to watch me paint, but it gives me an opportunity to work on some of this technology stuff and tell you some stories and test out, well, my technology and see what seems to work. I wanted to make a comment, an addendum to the last video I made about drug stuff. I have a very interesting thing to compare this to. So I'm most recently from Gainesville, Florida, in the United States, and I was there since '99. So what is the math on that for today? About 24 years, something like that. Now there's other stories about why I moved and all that, but I'm saving that for other videos. Well, in Gainesville, it's a party town. You have the University of Florida, college students, young people. It's unfortunate that I know this, but I can tell you which high schools do what drugs, and I can tell you a lot about the whole alcohol scene. It's it's bad. It's really bad. Um, Maybe I'll get into some of those other stories later, but that's not the purpose of this story video right now. So I was thinking about what I've experienced in Gainesville. Gainesville, to my knowledge, is mostly the crime, the high crime there is prostitution and drug related things and DUIs. Violent crime's not a big thing, but I did notice in my last couple of years that increased, especially since COVID. Especially because of certain administrations that we have now that are pro guns. When you get closer to the university, you have more of a thinking culture of people about society, but very, like, surrounding all of it, you have very small minded other people. I don't think I have to explain who they are. And they feel like they need to go into the central part of Gainesville where the University of Florida is and create problems. University of Florida people don't go out into the suburbs or in the country areas and create problems out there. What's the problem? I've not seen a man and woman sports. What else do they talk about? I've seen nobody trying to take your guns away from you, except you're going into public places and trying to shoot people. In fact, we had a rally when I was in graduate school. I don't remember the guy's name. One of these MAGA guys came to talk at the University of Florida. They shut down the University of Florida for some days before and after that event. But I still had to go to the university because I'm a graduate student. I had other responsibilities to do. And there were SWAT teams everywhere. The university was shut down. Classes were canceled. I still had things to do. So I went and did my things. It was wild. I don't remember the guy's name that was speaking, but one of these like white nationalist people. That's her whole story about that I could probably talk about. But what I'm getting at here is by the time I officially decided to move away from Gainesville and the United States, there were shootings every day in Gainesville, even in my own neighborhood. I feel safer here than I did there. I have not heard or witnessed or read about one single shooting here. I know that they occur. I would be naive to think that they don't, but not where I am. It's mostly families and kids and people just hanging out and doing stuff. Somebody might steal your phone, but they're not trying to kill you. Because if they killed you, they wouldn't have another phone to steal. Maybe I don't know if they're thinking about that, but I think about that. Uh, for drugs, as I mentioned, I've never seen it here. I'm sure it exists. I'm sure it happens, but I've not seen it. And also, I was kind of thinking a lot too about the drinking thing because in Gainesville, Florida, drinking is a huge part of the culture, but it's also a huge American culture. It's not just Gainesville; it's a huge American thing. I don't know if it's still the case, but if you look at the Super Bowl, which is the world's largest event ever, ever, it was sponsored by Budweiser. I don't know if it still is or not, but that was the big thing. And I remember growing up as a kid watching the Bud Bowl, and you see these beer bottles running around playing football together during one of the halftime show commercials things. Well, what are they doing? They're promoting to young kids like me to start thinking about Budweiser. From a marketing perspective, that's pretty smart. From a cultural perspective and what you want for your children, that is doom. So I was thinking about the drinking culture here. Fun fact, it's cheaper to buy a single beer here than it is to buy a bottle of water. And it's not because water is bad here. Beer is easy to make. Quality water is not hard to procure. Now, our tap water here is fine. Everything's regulated by the city and municipalities and whatnot. When you get outside of the city, maybe it's a little different, but here it's fine. But people are being convinced you have to buy bottled water. Well, the same thing's happening in the United States. Well, wait a minute. If your water's already good at your house, why are you going to go spend $3, $4 for a bottle of water? And then a beer might be $5 to $7 for something that's not, I don't know, an expensive beer. I don't know. It's been a while since I bought beer, so I don't know what it is. But here you can buy a beer for less than $1. And in my opinion, it's better beer. But that's just my opinion. There's not a drinking culture here like there is in the United States. There's just not. And they don't have blue laws here. The United States does in some places. Maybe not every place has that, but Gainesville, Florida has blue laws where you can only buy between certain hours and there's no street consumption of alcohol. Here, they don't have any of those laws because they don't have those problems. Think about that. It's a really different society.